Okay, hello and welcome back to Bookish and welcome back to my short story project. This month's short story was Hills Like White Elephants by Ernest Hemingway. If you don't know my short story project, I'm doing one short story a month. This year I'm going to do short stories from famous, well-known American authors. And this month's author was Hemingway. And this story, Hills Like White Elephants, is much shorter than I remembered when I picked it out. And in part I picked it out because it is frequently anthologized, or it used to be back when I was in school. For all I know, Hemingway doesn't show up in textbooks anymore, and a lot of people are probably happy about that. But it was anthologized a lot, and in part it's because it kind of showcases one of the things that I think Hemingway was an innovator at, and one of the things that he was best at. Now, if you haven't read the story, I'll leave a link, if I can find a link to a PDF that you can access online, I'll leave that link down below. And you could probably read it faster than it's going to take me to talk about it in this video. So the story is really pretty simple. There are really only two characters, three if you count the woman who works at the cantina at a train station, a man and a woman, neither of whom is named, and they are in Spain waiting for a train. Their wait's going to be around 40 or 45 minutes, and during the course of that wait, we learn a whole lot about the couple and kind of what they're going through and kind of where they are. And Hemingway here is going to use dialogue, I think, brilliantly to tell us everything we need to know about this couple, about the state of the relationship, about the future of the relationship, about them as people, about, you know, how different the wants of the couple are, and about who really is being put on the spot about making this decision. The tension begins to build really early. They're at the train station. They sit down at the cantina, which is the only kind of shady place at the side of the train station they're on, waiting for the train. They sit down in the shade at a table. They order a couple of beers, and the woman looks out at the mountains, and she says about the mountains, "They look like white elephants," she said. "I've never seen one." The man drank his beer. "No, you wouldn't have." And immediately we realize that, you know, there's some tension here, that she was almost just waiting for him to say something because she was already irritated with him. The tension is already there in their relationship, and she's obviously on edge about something, so she kind of attacks him about this thing. And over the course of the story, as they have more and more of a conversation, you realize that she's pregnant, and he is, in effect, in this entire story, trying to talk her to talk her into having an abortion. And it's interesting, kind of the way they talk about it, and it's interesting in the words he uses. And one of the things I think is most brilliant about the story is that you can see from what they each say and what each of them actually thinks. And to be honest with you, I think we're more in the head of the woman here than of the man. You can see that he's clearly trying to manipulate her into having this abortion. Let's see. I'll read you some lines that kind of show how it is. He says, "It's really an awfully simple operation, Jig," the man said. "It's not really an operation at all." The girl looked at the ground the table legs rested on. "No, you wouldn't mind it, Jig. It's really not anything. It's just to let the air in." The girl did not say anything. So he's basically just telling her that, you know, this is really nothing for her to worry about, that the procedure isn't anything for her to worry about, that, you know, it's just letting the air in, which is so clumsy and such a grotesque thing to say, that, you know, because what we know about Hemingway, I think it would be tempting to say, assume that this is kind of how Hemingway would think about it. But I think he's showing us, you know, how awful this is, and what a terrible way in which he's describing it, that he is clearly, you know, trying to push her to do something because he wants it to have done. And of course that's the case. Let's see. They talk more. They have more drinks and stuff. And then she says, "And if I do it, you'll be happy, and things will be like they were, and you'll love me." And he says, "I love you now. You know I love you." I know, but if I do it, then it will be nice again. If I say things are like white elephants and you'll like it. I'll love it. I love it now, but I just can't think about it. You know how I get when I worry. If I do it, you won't ever worry? I won't worry about that because it's perfectly simple. Then I'll do it because I don't care about me. What do you mean? I don't care about me. Well, I care about you. Oh yes, but I don't care about me, and I'll do it, and then everything will be fine. So, she's kind of made up her mind to do it because he wants her to do it, and he essentially says, that she doesn't care about herself, that she only cares about him and making him happy. In a sense, kind of throwing it back on him that she's willing to do this, but she's only going to do it because it makes him happy. So she's made up her mind here that she's going to go through with this procedure. And he's essentially said that, if she does this, if she has the abortion, then they can have everything, that they can have the whole world. And she essentially argues with him, and she says, we can't have the whole world. It's not ours anymore. And in a sense, what she's saying is, if I do this, if we go through with this, that our relationship won't be the same anymore. We can't have everything that we have now. In the meantime, physically, she has moved away from him. There's kind of I think, an important aspect of light and shadow here. That while he's talking to her, and while he's kind of cajoling her and trying to convince her to do this, she is sitting in the shade with him and having a drink, having the drinks that he's ordered for her. And when she decides to make her decision, she steps out of that shade into the brighter sunlight, and she looks around at everything, and she sees a shadow pass across the land. And it's then, when she's standing up in the sunshine and when she can see things, I think, clearly, that she makes this decision. And it's almost this, and one of the more brilliant things I think about the story is, as soon as he's convinced her to do this, he clearly feels some guilt that she has effectively turned this back on him to make it clear that she's just doing this because he wants her to. So he says, "Come back in the shade. You mustn't feel that way." "I don't feel any way," the girl said. "I just know things." "I don't want you to do anything that you don't want to do." "Nor that isn't good for me," she said. "I know. Could we have another beer?" "All right, but you've got to realize." "I realize," the girl said. Can we maybe stop talking?" She's made her decision. She doesn't want to hear from him anymore. She's going to go through with it because he wants to, not because she wants to. She knows it's going to damage their relationship, but she's willing to go through with it because this is what he wants to do. They go on and have more conversation, and he keeps trying to explain that what he wants to do, and he doesn't want to do anything to do. And he says, "Yes, it's perfectly simple. It's all right for you to say, but I do know it. Would you do something for me now? I'd do anything for you. Would you please, 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 please stop talking?" He did not say anything, but looked at the bags against the wall of the station. There were labels on them from all the hotels where they had spent nights. "But I don't want you to," he said. "I don't care anything about it." "I'll scream," she said. So she's at that point where she just can't stand to hear another word from him about it. The decision's made. The damage has been done. That she knows that since they're not going to have the baby, they're not going to go on with their relationship, that she's going to do this for him, not because she wants to, but because it will make him happy, that their relationship will change, that it is essentially forever damaged. It will never go back to being the way it was. But she's willing to do it because she does want him to be happy. And I think this is a fairly remarkable story for a number of reasons. Number one, it conveys all that almost primarily through dialogue. There is very little description of the setting. The story in that respect is really bare, and there's not a lot to it. And it's all told through dialogue. This is Hemingway showing through dialogue and not telling us anything. And there's so much emotional power, and there's so much about their relationship in these 4 short pages that, to me, this is a fairly brilliant story. And I think it's one of those stories in which Hemingway is actually identifying more with his female character here than with his male character. And I will tell you that I think that's a not uncommon feature in Hemingway's short stories. And if you've watched my channel at all, you know that I believe that Hemingway's a much better short story writer than he was a novelist. Anyway, there you go. That's my basic breakdown of Hills Like White Elephants. I hope I haven't forgotten anything, and I hope that all made sense. I'm not sure my readings were very good. But, you know, well, there you go. Let me know what you thought of the story. Let me know what you thought about the video in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching.